तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथां तं सुधीरम् Advaitam Sarvadhitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Saitam Vadevam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lila Shri Shakam Vedamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Lokakantara Yadhartanta Ramustute Tapta Kanchana Gaurandi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Tapasindhu Devacha Padikaram Pavnebhyo Vishnu Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravadutta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you to our Gita classes. We are on chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled as Karma Yoga. The last time we began this section of the chapter 3, which is the second section, which is known as rungs of the yoga ladder. We'll continue with that section. So the last time I was talking to you all about how Krishna explains the third chapter using the concept of progressive upgradation in one's evolution of consciousness, evolution of spiritual progress. So technically, these rungs of the yoga ladder are steps in which we can progress from the lowest level to the highest level in our spiritual consciousness and evolution. So we began the yoga ladder by talking about the rung which is even below the lowest rung, which is called as non-scriptural enjoyment, or which is called bhoga. It is not even part of the yoga. It's not even part of the yoga ladder. So it is much below the yoga ladder. It's called as bhoga. We had a long discussion on this concept. And then, so here in this, we spoke about how the philosophy of a person who is on this level of non-spiritual enjoyment, his philosophy is work hard, earn money, buy stuff, and enjoy life. The ideology is believe in yourself. No God, no soul. So a lot of people who read these self-help books, they fall and believe in them in terms of this is all I need to know. It's not about self-help books being not useful. That's not the point. They are very useful at that level, But if you consider that as the highest understanding of life, then it's not right. There's much more to it than that. So, so at the first level is known as non-scriptural enjoyment. The question now is that if Bhoma Sukha, or the material pleasure that we call it as, is not the highest, and it has problems, as we discussed last time, what is the alternative? That's what we spoke about, and we began speaking about the first rung of the yoga ladder. So the lowest rung, which is much below the yoga ladder, is non-scriptural enjoyment. The first rung of the yoga ladder is known as scriptural enjoyment. So now, this is the first rung of the yoga ladder. So scriptural enjoyment, what does it really mean? So in material enjoyment, the idea is work, earn, buy, and enjoy. That is the philosophy. In scriptural enjoyment, philosophy is work, earn, enjoy. The buy goes away. So enjoy stays, but in a different way. So that means these are people who realize that there is presence of scriptures. Now, scriptures have a huge amount of knowledge. The Vedas have 100,000, sorry, 100,000 shlokas are just Mahabharata. The Vedas is 1 lakh shlokas. 100,000 lakh. That's the number of shlokas that are there in all the Vedas put together. And interestingly, if you study the 4 Vedas, if you study the Upanishads, if you study the Puranas, 90% of what Vedic scriptures teach us is how to enjoy. So if you think that the Vedas are against enjoyment, the scriptures against enjoyment, you're wrong. The Vedas have a lot about how to enjoy life. But the goal here is a little different. After reading the scriptures, there's a paradigm shift. The books, such as how to make money, how to become a millionaire, how to think rich, whatever, all these books, how to enjoy, etc. The center point is how to enjoy. Now, this is what non-scriptural enjoyment is, right? Now, what is scriptural enjoyment? Scriptural enjoyment is also talking about how to enjoy only. But the book has changed. From Stephen Covey, now we are coming to Ved Vyas, basically. Author has changed, the book has changed, essentially. But the principle remains the same, how to enjoy. So, in the previous books, the self-help books, the paradigm was independence. When you come to scriptural enjoyment, and when you read the scriptures, the paradigm here changes from independence to dependence. Dependence on whom? Dependence on higher powers. So the individual learns to depend on higher powers as against the sheer independence on dependence on himself. So a person realizes that necessities of life don't come from factories. Rice doesn't come in factories. Wheat doesn't grow in factories. Fruits and vegetables don't grow in factories. Most of the necessities of life do not grow in factories. The scriptures make us realize you cannot eat nuts and bolts. You don't eat cashew nuts. And you cannot manufacture cashew nut in a factory. You have to plant a tree for that. So now, when you are dependent on grains, bread, they don't get manufactured in Microsoft. Water doesn't get manufactured in Infosys. Air doesn't get manufactured in Apple. So these are things that get manufactured, that are there in this world. And the moment the understanding of the scriptures comes in, what really happens is, in scriptural enjoyment, the idea is, I want to enjoy, but through the religious worship. Hard work has a limited capacity. How much can I work hard? And therefore, there are many other ways in which you can achieve prosperity, achieve what you want. We are introduced to pujas, we are introduced to mantras, we are introduced to yajnas, all with the purpose of better prosperity here. So the idea of karma kanda, it essentially means selfishly motivated religion. What's in it for me? Slowly from karma kanda, we are elevated to jnana kanda, upasana kanda, etc. Jnana kanda is liberation from material suffering. Upasana kanda is unmotivated loving service to God. But in the scriptures, you actually study those scriptures, 90% of the scriptures talk about karma kanda. If I do this, I'll get this. If I do that, I'll get this. That's what most of the scriptures are talking about. Karmakand. So the idea of Karmakand is connected with first level of Karmakand is what I can get here, getting the best while I'm on earth. One level higher is getting the best in the heavens. So the idea of higher level of pleasure is introduced in the other concept of Karmakand. And then the idea of Karmakand brings us an ideology. The concept of Karmakand brings us an ideology. And what is the ideology that Karmakand brings us to? Simply one thing. I need higher powers. That's all. That's the concept that Karmakand brings us. Slowly introduces us to the concept of higher powers. That means I need to depend on somebody higher than me, somebody more powerful than me, somebody greater than me. The moment Karmakand comes into our life, the moment scriptures come into our life, the understanding of dependence comes. We stop thinking of independence. I don't care for anybody, I don't need anybody. And then immediately you start looking for dependence on some higher powers. This world is like an incubator. The moment a child is born, milk comes in the breast of the mother. And the moment teeth comes in the child's mouth, milk stops coming in the breast of the mother. And then the child starts eating things that are so easily accessible in this world. So when we think, the moment we start understanding the concept of Karmakand, which is scriptural enjoyment, we start understanding that I need to depend on higher powers for my basic sustenance in this world. The fact here to be understood is that, for electricity, telephone, etc., we need to depend on some higher authorities. Similarly, on a microcosmic level, we are dependent on higher authorities. There is Indra, there is Varuna, there is Shiva, there is Ganesha. There are so many 30 crore demigods, each of them giving us different things in life. We are dependent on higher authorities for every single thing. Now, compare this to a person who reads books that talks about how to be self-sufficient, thinking that I'm independent, I'm in control, there is no higher power, there is no soul, there is no person who believes. So these are people who don't believe in spiritual environment. So in this chapter, verse number 14 to 16, Krishna is talking about how we are dependent. The 14th verse is a very beautiful verse. Krishna says, Anna bhavanti bhutani parjanya anna sambhava. Yagyat bhavati parjanyo yagya karma samudbhava. He says, all living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced, the performance of yagya or sacrifices. And yagya is born out of prescribed duties. Look at the sequence of things that Krishna is speaking about. Today, you ask a child, where do you get grains from? He'll say supermarket. The child has no idea that grains don't come from supermarket. They come from the farm. But somehow, in the modern era that we are all living in, the child has no understanding that the grains don't reach the supermarket on their own. They come from farmers who work, toil hard. And farmers, they depend on rain. And how does rain come? Here, Krishna is giving us the answer. How does rain come? Yagya. Yagya means sacrifice. Somewhere in this world, somebody is performing sacrifice because of which rain comes. And yagya is born out of prescribed duties. I'm saying, Anna bhavanti bhutani, which means here Anna refers to grains. Everyone subsists on grains, whether you're a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. You're still subsisting on grains only, because in whatever way, either directly or indirectly. Of course, nobody can eat only non-veg. That's not possible also. You need grains still, right? So the idea of higher powers means that there are some agents who are similar to government agents who are providing all the facilities for us. So we have, so many agencies in the government, BST, and then we have the bus system and electricity boards and so many things that are providing us basic things. Provide, don't we pay electricity bill? Don't we pay water bill? Don't we pay gas bill? Don't we pay mobile bills? We all pay bills because if you don't pay those bills, they'll be cut. Similarly, on a higher level, also there is bills that we have to pay. On a higher level, for breathing, what bill are you paying? For being able to open your eyes, what bill are you paying? For being able to eat grains, for rain to come, what bill are you paying? Krishna is saying over here, you have to pay a bill. And what is the bill that we have to pay? It's called yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. What is the meaning of the word sacrifice? Sacrifice means giving up something. What is duty that is being spoken about here? The Vedic organization system, the society was divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras. What is the duty for Brahmana? Perform yajna. What is the duty of Kshatriya? To get protection for the yajnas. Nobody should hinder the performance of yajnas. What is the duty of Vaishya? Earn money to pay for the yajnas. What is the duty of Shudra? Was to assist in the performance of yajnas, in the arrangement. So that means everyone was performing yajna and they had some duty towards performance of yajna. Now, in a modern civilization, we don't know what our duty is because we don't know what yajna to do, right? We don't know where to contribute to the yajna. Therefore, in today's world, in today's society, in Kali Yuga, the yajna that is prescribed is known as Sankirtan Yajna, chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That is the yajna that is prescribed for this age. So if you just chant the holy names of the Lord, or you assist in chanting of the holy names of the Lord, that is yajna. And that yajna is the way we show our dependence on God. So now somebody might say that I'm having a full-time job. How do I do yajna? How do I conduct sacrifices? Where do I get wood from? Where do I get a place? I mean, if you do yajnas at homes nowadays, these fire alarms and all that, it's very difficult to do yajnas in the traditional way. But the same benefit of yajna is done by when you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, participating in yajna, that is the way you perform or you're participating in those duties. So what are these duties is described in the scriptures, the Vedas. So grains come from rains come from yajna comes from the sense of duty, and duties are described in the scriptures. And in this age, the duty that is described, the yajna that is described is the Sankirtan yajna. So when we just follow what the scriptures are telling us, we are actually performing our duties. When we are performing our duties, we are performing yajna. And that yajna leads to rains, and the rains lead to grains. So there is an indirect connection made. Annad is everything. Annad Bhoti. So the principle of sacrifice, the Nam Sankirtan, is such a powerful thing. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in Hyderabad, and there was a point in time where there was no rains for months and months and months, and everyone was totally confused what to do. And Prabhupada said, organize Sankirtan. And they organized a massive Sankirtan. That evening, it rained like anything. And there was actually the next day in the newspaper, there was a big, headline that said, Hare Krishna, the Rainmakers. So Prabhupada always said that there is a connection between Sankirtan and the idea of higher powers, higher authorities, higher personalities being pleased. So the idea of performing our duties, performing yajna, prescribed by the Vedas, is simply for one purpose. What is the purpose for which we do these yajnas? The purpose for which we do these yajnas is to please the Supreme Lord. So when we, there's a very interesting concept that Krishna introduces us to in the 12th verse of this chapter. So Krishna says, Ishtan Bhogan Tivo Deva, Darshante Yagya Bhavita, Trade Dattan Aparabdevyo, Yo Bhunte Stena Evas. He says, in charge of various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied with the performance of Yagya or sacrifice, will supply all the necessities to you. So Krishna is saying this. If you just do duties, the gods will supply all the necessities to you. And Krishna further goes on to say, but he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is called a thief. Very interesting. So Krishna is calling all of us who do not reciprocate, who do not give back to what the gods give us. When we don't give anything in return, we call thieves. That means we're taking, but we're not giving back anything in return. And that makes us a thief. And therefore, here, Krishna is very heavily inspiring us to be grateful for what we get. So, the idea of understanding that all the gods are providing us facilities, providing us things is so important. And not only Bhutani. We are subsisting on rains. Grains come from rains, Parjanya, Anna Sambhava. Grains come from rains. And where do rains come from? Yagyat Bhavati Parjanyu. Yagya means sacrifices. Parjanyu means rains. So Yagya comes from where? Yagya comes from, rains come from Yagyas, from sacrifices. So, in an egoistic illusion state, we might deny the existence of Indra, we might deny the existence of Bhagavad Gita, but this is science. It's not some, hodgepodge philosophy. It is not some made-up thing. It's very much powerful science. So the reason we perform yajna, so one is we sacrifice, we sacrifice, we do yajnas for oneself, because we need greens. So for ourselves, we need to make some sacrifices. We also need to make sacrifices for the sake of others. For every human being has to do something for the sake of society. That's what duties are, prescribed duties. And then Krishna speaks about doing sacrifices for the sake of the Supreme Lord. Verse 14, Krishna says, Anna Bhavati Bhutani Parjanya Anna Sambhava Yagya Bhavati Parjanya Yagya Karma Samudbhava. Yagyas are for short-term benefits and long-term benefits. Short-term benefit is, there are yagyas like Putra Kamishti Yagya, where, whoever doesn't have a child can perform the yagya, will get a child. Then there is Uma Santosh Yagya, Surya Narayan Yagya. They all for the time we are here in this world. After death, if you want to get heavenly planets, then there are other yagyas, Jyotishmaya Yagya, and so on and so forth. So the idea is if you perform yagyas, you will get some benefit. Srila Prabhupada, in the purport to this particular verse, he says, we cannot perform all these yagyas now. Why? Because we don't have qualified brahmanas. We don't have qualified ingredients. What is the quality of ghee that we use? What is the quality of milk that is there? What is the quality of wood? What is the quality of all the substances that we have in this world? Very pathetic quality, right? So now, if you want to get wood, where do you get wood from? You can't even find fresh wood today. The wood that you get from the market also is such a bad quality wood. So now the point is, if we have to perform yajna today, what is the yajna that we can perform? That's why Prabhupada talks about Nam Sankirtan. Yajanti hi sumedasha. So this means Yajanti hi sumedasha. Sumeda, Medha means intelligence. Sumedha means the one who is very intelligent. So the one who is very intelligent, what is the yajna they do in this today's world? Nam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, because all other yajnas are not possible today. In today's time and age, all other yajnas are not practical and not possible. One of our devotees in our temple, Radha Gopinath temple, once, many years back, he sang Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Rag Megh Malhar. I don't know how many of you all know ragas. The science of ragas is very interesting. Megh Malhar raga is guaranteed to bring rain. And this devotee, he sang Megh Malhar raga. 3 times he sang Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And it actually rained. Yajna bhavanti parjanyam. Yajna comes from performance of rains come from performance of yajnas. And yajna karmas udbhavaha. And yajna comes from the sense of duty. So therefore, when we perform yajnas for as a sacrifice for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then when we chant the Hare Krishna Mantra, we are actually giving great pleasure to the Supreme Lord. And we are helping the world by performance of yajna. So what happens usually is when you accept these, when you accept the idea of spiritual enjoyment, what comes up? 2 things comes up as a result of that. So first level, non-scriptural enjoyment means I want to enjoy in this world, right? So we explore the whole idea of enjoying in this world. With scriptural enjoyment, the principle of enjoyment is not gone. We want to enjoy, but we want to enjoy in the way the scriptures prescribe. So the scriptures say, do yajnas, do this sacrifice, do this particular process, and you can enjoy in this world. So we end up doing all those processes, trying to enjoy in this world. But over a period of time, one begins to understand and realize that enjoyment is, doesn't really give me great satisfaction. A person who tries to enjoy in different ways, at some point starts getting frustrated. And when we are told to perform the sacrifices, you come in the association of priests. You come in the association of brahmanas. When you come in the association of brahmanas, what typically happens is that these are people who have studied the scriptures, right? These are people who have understood the scriptures and are living life based on the scriptures. They slowly tell us the perishable nature of this body. The priests point out the futility of running around this material world, running around trying to attain material prosperity. They even tell us how just the heavens is not enough. Even that doesn't bring us great satisfaction. So slowly, when you come in the association of these saintly people who are great devotees of the Lord, you get exposed to the 10% other verses that teach us about the higher goals of life. I told you all, 90% of the verses in the scriptures teach us what? Karmakand, how to enjoy in this world. Or at max, they teach you how to go to the heavens and enjoy, which is also part of the material world. But when you come across devotees, priests, people who are following the Vedic path for performance of yajnas, invariably you come across some Brahmins, invariably you come across some Pandits, invariably you sit for 1 or 2 hours to do the yajnas. And while sitting for the 1 or 2 hours to do the yajnas, you talk to them, isn't it? Some conversation happens. And in that conversation, they introduce you to the 10% of the verses that are there in the scriptures that talk about higher goal in life. And when they introduce you to those 10% verses that talk about the higher goals of life, what they are really doing is they are introducing you to the thought that please work for a higher purpose. Then it is understood by a person that Vedas come from Lord Vishnu. Vedas are the breathing of Lord Vishnu. Then this person in the scriptural enjoyment category. Now, the person in the scriptural enjoyment category now understands that he has to go higher than that. His goal evolves slowly. He no longer thinks only of material enjoyment, material happiness, but he thinks of leaving this material world. Now, after hearing countless verses that glorify karma kand and glorify the heavenly realms, slowly begins to consider verses that talk about jnana kanda, that talk about contemplating non-material things, spiritual life based on the soul's eternity. And therefore, he's slowly moving from karma kand to the concept of karma yoga. The moment Vishnu comes in, the idea of kanda becomes yoga. So far in the yoga ladder, we have been talking the rung below the yoga ladder is non-scriptural enjoyment. Then on the yoga ladder, we got the first rung, which is scriptural enjoyment, which means karma kanda. So the philosophy of scriptural enjoyment, what is the philosophy? The philosophy here is dependence on higher powers. And there are three kinds of sacrifices, yajnas that are recommended. Sacrifices for oneself, that means I get the benefit. Sacrifices for the sake of others, so others also get the benefit. Sacrifice for the sake of Supreme Lord, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So there are different types of yajnas that are recommended in this world. There is Japa Yajna. So these are the yajnas that is possible for us at our level to do. There is Japa Yajna, where we chant the holy names of the Lord. There is Dana, which is charity, preferably to be prasad to people. There is Seva, which is to sacrifice the time, energy, efforts in serving the Lord and the mission. And finally, fourth type of yajna is prasad, where you can offer prasad to others. That also is considered yajna. So when we look for a higher way of life, you realize the frustration that tends to enjoy here. And then you also, in the association of saintly people, understand that there is knowledge of higher realities of life. And slowly you begin to explore that aspect of higher realities of life. So, so we saw that there are, three problems in non-scriptural enjoyment. There is hard work to be done. The quality of the enjoyment is not that great, and the endurance, the amount of enjoyment that you get also is very less. And then we saw about these three types of kands. If you remember, we spoke about it in great detail once: karma kand, jnana kand, and upasana kand. And then we introduced two levels of karma kandas. That means while you are here on this earth, you get some pleasure, and then beyond this earth, you get pleasure in heaven. These are all the result of karma kanda. So going beyond this, we go to the next level, which is the step above karma kanda. So non-scriptural enjoyment is clear, and scriptural enjoyment karma kanda is clear. So what is the step above this? The step above this is the third rung of the yoga ladder. What is the third rung of the yoga ladder? It's a very interesting rung. The third rung of the yoga ladder is known as semi-detached service. So here, a person comes to the realization that life is not just meant to enjoy. Life is also meant to serve. So far, I was been thinking life is only meant to enjoy for myself. But as I slowly get in connection with scriptures and association of saintly people, we come to realize that life is not just meant for enjoyment. Life is meant to serve. I'm already frustrated with enjoyment. Now I have desire for purification. And here, a person starts giving away the hard-earned fruits for a higher cause of satisfying Lord Vishnu. Giving is not easy, isn't it? How many people are able to give? Not at all easy. A miser can't give. They don't understand the language of giving. One time, there was a miser who was on a boat, and somehow he fell into the water, and this guy didn't know how to swim. So the person who was on the boat was trying to help him come out of the water, right? And this miser was struggling like anything, to the person from the boat. He said, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." And this miser doesn't know how to give anything. So he didn't give his hand also. So that man was thinking, I'm telling this Lord, give me your hand, why is he not giving? Then he realized this guy is a miser, he can't give anything. He said, "Take my hand." So the idea of dana, the idea of giving is so difficult in this world. People struggle so badly to give. There was one beggar who used to go every day to different houses to beg. So there was one particular house he goes every single day. And the lady in the house would never give him anything. Finally, one day, she got fed up with this beggar. And she opened the door. And in his begging bowl, she put a whole heap of ash. In those days, they used to use wood, right? Firewood. She put a whole heap of ash into that bowl. And this beggar told her, "Thank you, thank you." This lady said, "Arey, why did you say thank you? I threw ash in your begging bowl." The beggar said, "At least you began giving. Today you threw ash. Tomorrow you might throw cash, So at least the habit of giving began. It's such a tough habit to give, right? It's just difficult to take out and give to somebody else. So, and giving for God is even harder. Unfortunately, in today's world, people can give for any cause that seems humanitarian. But when it comes to anything that is spiritual, religious, something that is divine, they think 100 times. Because somewhere there's a disconnect from understanding how divine contribution, whether you contribute to a temple, whether you contribute to some spiritual activity, how it is benefiting society. Because unfortunately, they don't understand the concept of yajna. They don't understand the concept of contributing for a higher cause and how yajna actually is running the world. So without that understanding, giving for a divine cause is even more difficult. So this idea of giving is such an important thing. Life is like a game of tennis. It begins with serve and ends with love all. Begins with serving the Lord, and then you will serve others. Basically. So slowly, if you look at the yoga ladder, how it has brought us, it has brought us from the point of enjoyment to the point of seva. So, we began with non-scriptural enjoyment, then moved towards scriptural enjoyment. Now we are coming towards renouncing a part of the fruits for the sake of service. Purification is required in the mentality of enjoying to the idea of serving. Purification of the mind, purification of the body, the purification of the soul begins. Such a person now realizes that no more demigods. He will respect the demigods, honor them, and pray for the service to the Lord. So here he realizes the idea of yatyartho karmano niyati. Lokoyam karmavantana. Do work for Krishna. He realizes that Krishna is the highest. He starts serving the Lord. But still, he is not completely detached. He's not completely free. So in this rung, the second rung of the yoga ladder, he does 50-50 with God. That means he's giving 50%, but his desire is also active. So on this ladder, Krishna is accepted as the supreme, and some large percentage of his money is given to Krishna. He's working for him, giving the fruits of his work to Krishna, but he doesn't give complete fruits to Krishna as yet. Why? Because we're still on the second level of the yoga ladder, isn't it? So can't give completely, can't give 100% of our fruits to Krishna. This rung of the yoga ladder is called as semi-detached service. It is also called as Sakam Karma Yoga. Kama means desire. Sakama means full of desire. Sakama Karma Yoga means that we are doing Karma Yoga, but we have our own desire also. Still, we are not fully free from our desire. So the word yoga is used because connection to God has begun from this step. But it is not a complete connection, it is a semi-detached connection. Therefore, the idea here is 50-50. Crack jack. That is what we end up doing with God, basically. 50% here with you, 50% with me, basically. Like for example, one time a man came to our temple and he saw all the brahmacharis going out with big bags, to distribute books in the trains. There was a point in time where I used to spend literally 6 to 7 hours of my day distributing books in trains, in local trains of Bombay. To carry these massive, huge bags, 20 kilos, 30 kilos of books, and we would distribute books in the local trains. So this one guy came and he saw, they were carrying these, all of us were carrying these big bags. So he told the brahmacharis that I want to do some seva. So he said, I want to give you all bags, so that you can use it to go and distribute books nicely. So he went and bought some denim cloth and he got 25 denim bags made for us to use. Very good bags. I remember they lasted for years, basically. And, after 15 days, this man came back with these big denim bags. And we were all so happy and excited, that we're getting new bags and good quality bags. It can help us lift that weight and all that. And then, from him, we began to use them and all. 2 days later, he came with a bill. We were shocked when he gave us the bill, basically. So we thought he was coming to do seva, basically, but he came and gave us a bill. So he said, I did seva. I got the bag stitched for you, but this money is for the cloth that I bought. So obviously we paid him the money for whatever he asked. But this man is doing service. He's giving it a concessional rate. He took the responsibility of stitching it all. But he had some interest also in it. So this is called as semi-detached service. Sakam Karma Yoga. That means you give also, but there is some expectation that I will get back or something in return. It's called 50-50. It's renouncing a part of the fruit. So he probably would have earned much more if he had gone to some other place, which was non-spiritual. But because it is temple, he kind of gave away a little bit of what he could have earned. This is called semi-detached work or Sakam Karma Yoga. So this is one level higher than Karma Kanda. If you understand what is the difference is here the word yogas come in. And the moment the word yoga comes in, that means Krishna's come in picture. That means he is doing it for God. He is doing it as a service. But he has a small vested interest still left in it. So it is 50% for God, 50% for myself. So this is called a semi-detached service, a Sakam Karma Yoga. From here, you go to the next level, which is called as Nishkama Karma Yoga, or it is called a detached work. So this is much higher than Sakama. So Kama means desire, Sakama means full of desire or with the desire, and Nishkama means having no desire. So this rung is from semi-detached service, you are reaching the level of detached service. Here, the person is ready to leave all fruits of his work for Vishnu, except for what he needs for his basic upkeeping. This rung also has a problem. Here, the person is detached from the fruit, but he is attached to the work. Let me explain again. So in this level, the problem is he's detached from the fruit, but he's attached to the nature of the work. So this is also not the highest level of yoga ladder, but this is the fourth rung. Let me give you an example. One time, a man came to our temple and he said, I want to do some seva. And he said, I don't want anything in return. So the moment he said, I don't want anything in return, what comes under? It comes under Nishkam. He has no desire for anything in return. So he said, please tell me what seva I can do. So then one devotee told him, please go to the book, go down, very dirty it is, come and clean it along with us. The man said, no, I can't go to the book, go down. And he said, I've come here only for washing utensils. So then he was told, all the utensils have been washed, but we need some help in cleaning the book, go down. The man said, you go down. I will not go to the go down. So he's saying, I want to only wash utensils. Come here for. Now here, the man is come to do seva. He doesn't want anything in return, but he's attached to the kind of service that he wants to do. There are many people who want to come to the temple, want to come and do some service, but you tell them, can you do this particular service? They'll say no. Because in their mind, they are already attached to a particular way of serving. Therefore, though it is called Nishkama Karma Yoga, they are detached from the fruit of service, but they are attached to the nature of service. Therefore, this is not the highest rung of the yoga ladder. This is still, somewhere in between. People here at this level, they are not ready to do anything that is against their status. It's very interesting how human mind works. So, when the day you decide that I will do completely detached to seva, that means I don't have anything expectation in return, but I'm still not detaching from the point of view of my status. What type of work I want to do, what type of service I want to do. So that's Nishkam Karma Yoga means I don't want anything in return, but I'm still attached to what I want to do to God. So here he does not see what the requirement is. He doesn't see what the need is. He has his own ideology of how things he wants to do and how he wants to do it. So when one has preconceived notions of how to serve Krishna, what is not in Bhakti Yoga? If one ever has an illusion that is practicing Bhakti Yoga, but he has their own way of serving God, own way of how to serve Guru, how to serve devotee, it simply means that you may be on the platform of Nishkam Karma Yoga, but you have not reached the highest platform of Bhakti Yoga yet. So there are many people who are Nishkam Karma Yogis, but still they have a long way to go. So from this level, the idea of renouncing the fruits comes in. So here, in the previous one, there is half renouncement. That means we are renouncing the fruits by half. Nishkam Karma Yoga, we have renounced the fruits completely, but we are attached to the service. We are attached to the nature of the work, type of service that we do. Next level is 100% detachment. 100% the fruits are given away 100%, and 100% work is surrendered. That means here, this person has in fact given up work. Here the idea is to cultivate knowledge and through knowledge reach the absolute truth. So this person is detached from fruits. This person is also detached from work. So here at this level of of the yoga ladder, one does work on an intellectual level. So here at this level, physical work stops and intellectual work begins. Renouncing completely to understand, analyze, and study the scriptures. That's what this level of yoga ladder is. It's called as the idea of jnana. So here the idea is no work, analysis, and meditation, which is known as jnana yoga. So here, when we reach the stage of jnana yoga, there is an intellectual work that is happening. But higher than that is the next level of the yoga ladder, which is known as jnana yoga. This is mental absorption. I don't know how many of you will understand this idea. Let me make it very simple for you. Somebody who is working as a labor, taking stone, doing all physical activity, or even driving cars, or any kind of physical action involved, they get lesser pay than someone who is using intelligence to do research, isn't it? And they get lesser pay compared to someone who's using his mind completely in thinking of ideas and strategizing more big concepts, right? Isn't that how the world works? That is exactly how the yoga ladder works also. If you look at it. So the one level is action, karma. Higher than that is jnana, which is knowledge. Higher than that is dhyana, which is mental work. So here, higher rung of the yoga ladder, here is no work, it is physical in nature, but there is mechanical meditation, which is known as dhyana yoga. So here, the idea is of absorption in something higher, absorption in on a mental level. Now we're introduced to something much higher than all of this. This is called as work for a higher purpose. This is considered to be the last rung of the yoga ladder. The last rung of the yoga ladder is where a person says, I want to do loving service to Krishna. This is not detached service. This is full of love. There is a big difference between doing something in a detached spirit and doing something out of love. Apparently, two people may do the same thing. But here, the element of love makes all the difference. Whatever Krishna wants, I'll do. So if Krishna wants that person to work, he'll work. If Krishna wants that person not to work, he'll not work. So this person doesn't care for his own opinions. He cares for Krishna's opinions. Why? Because he loves Krishna. When we love someone, we don't care for our opinions. Such a person is ready to adjust anything in his or her life to serve Krishna. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya vivarjana. What is the meaning of pratikulyasya vivarjana? The word pratikul means anything that is not favorable to Krishna, not pleasing to Krishna, I give it up. Anukulyasya sankalpa, anything that is pleasing to Krishna, I will do it with determination. So at this stage, the person accepts that which is favorable to Krishna and rejects anything that is unfavorable to Krishna. So now, this person can be at any stage of the yoga ladder and he doesn't care for it. Because here he's working the spirit of love. So, what is Krishna telling Arjuna? Let's just look at the whole yoga ladder nicely. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that this is the stages. First stage is talking about non-spiritual enjoyment. That means here the idea is that the concept of work is for the purpose of earning, you buy and you enjoy, isn't it? That's what we discussed, the idea of non-spiritual enjoyment. So somebody who is in one level higher, karma kanda, So here at this level, the person doesn't want to enjoy here. So Arjuna is telling, so at what level will Krishna really be satisfied? So non-spiritual enjoyment is at the lowest level, which is not even the yoga ladder. This will not give joy to Krishna at all. How will Krishna be happy with this when we are trying to enjoy ourselves independent of God? The one level higher is spiritual enjoyment, where we are thinking about ourselves. So it's a very selfish thing, isn't it? So each of these rungs has a name in Sanskrit. So material enjoyment of yoga is not a part of the yoga ladder at all. The first rung of the yoga ladder is material enjoyment. So in material enjoyment, a person does not come to Krishna at all. He does not bother about God. He does not need God. In fact, he says, why God? I'll work it out myself. That's what the idea of material enjoyment is. So you study, you work hard, you get facilities, you enjoy life. Why do you need God? This is the paradigm. Then we come to the idea of spiritual enjoyment. It's called as karma. What changes here? What now slowly the person is introduced to the idea of scriptures. The moment the scripture comes in picture, he becomes a little more responsible. He still wants to enjoy, but he wants to enjoy in the way scripture recommend. He wants to enjoy in the way that the Vedic scriptures recommending, like Vyasadev's teachings. What changes karma kind to karma yoga? When selfishness changes to selflessness, karma kind changes to karma yoga. From me to you, whether it is 50% or 10%, it is for you. You means God. So, in karma yoga, the introduction of God comes in. In scriptural enjoyment, still God is not completely in the picture. I'm doing something that the scriptures recommend, but I'm still focusing on the enjoyment part. Slowly from that, we come to the point of detached, semi-detached work, which is Sakam Karma Yoga. This is the third rung, and it's called Karma Yoga. But it is called Sakam Karma Yoga. That means to give the fruits, but some fruit I also keep 50-50. I give some to God, but I also keep some with me. And then from there, we go to the next level of Nishkam Karma Yoga. The fruit is completely renounced, and 100% give the fruit away, but I'm attached to the work. You can't tell me how to work for God. I will choose my path. I'm attached to the nature of work. And then from Nishkam Karma Yoga, we reach to the point of Jnana Yoga, where I don't work, there's no work, there's no fruits also connected. But I just cultivate knowledge and merge into Brahman, reach the Paramatma level. And then the fifth rung, this particular rung is known as the Jnana Yoga. Here there is a 100% detachment. Does not want either work nor the fruits of works, but is believing in detached in reading and acquiring knowledge. And much higher than that is the idea of dhyana, which is meditation, and it is very high level of absorption in something higher. So there's no work involved here, there's no fruits involved here, but there is absorption at the mental level involved here. And much higher than that is called as Bhakti Yoga, or it is called as work in the spirit of devotion. This is about loving service to Krishna. What I want is not important. What Krishna wants is important. Krishna speaks through the Guru. Now, how do you hear Krishna's voice? Can you and me hear Krishna's voice? If we say that, in Bhakti, we do what Krishna wants, what pleases Krishna. How do we ever understand what pleases Krishna? Simple. When the Guru, the teacher, when your spiritual master tells you something, do this. Understand that pleases Krishna. And of course, it has to be a bona fide spiritual master. A bona fide spiritual master will never make you do anything for his selfish interests. A bona fide spiritual master will only tell you to do those things that are for the pleasure of Krishna. So so God speaks to us through his devotees. Therefore, when one has a spiritual master and the association of devotees, then one knows what Krishna wants him or her to do. What service, what nature of work he wants the devotee to do. So this sixth rung of the yoga ladder, this is the highest step in the yoga ladder, is Bhakti Yoga, which is loving service to Krishna. When one serves Krishna, one does not expect anything in return, not even ATG exemption. This is called Bhakti Yoga. The idea of Bhakti Yoga is my name, my fame, all that doesn't matter to me. I don't want billboards to be put of how much donation I give. I don't want, my name to be taken everywhere, wherever possible chances are there. no expectation. And that's what is called as Bhakti Yoga. So the idea of Bhakti Yoga means I come here, give my fruits, don't expect anything in return. I don't even want acknowledgement of my fruits. I don't expect anything from God for me. That's what the idea of Bhakti Yoga is. Anything that serves Krishna, one will do. That readiness to do what Krishna wants, what Guru wants, what devotees want from us is known as Bhakti Yoga. This, of course, does not mean that we should not take any of those facilities. It just means that I am at such a level that I'm not expecting any of these facilities. So we all have to slowly climb these rungs of the yoga ladder. Technically, people take lifetimes to climb one rung of this yoga ladder. Lifetimes of climbing. But we are so fortunate that those who have come to the process of Krishna consciousness through ISKCON, to see the Prabhupada's teachings, we are straight away taking an elevator to reach the top of the Bhakti yoga of the yoga ladder. We are right on top. Actually, if you really look at it, what are you doing? You're right there, right on top of the yoga ladder. So this yoga ladder is very interesting. So this the first level of the yoga ladder is Karma Kanda. This particular level of yoga ladder is known as the middle four, are technically coming under the category of Jnana Kanda. And the last level, the topmost level, is under the category of Upasana Kanda. So all of us, we are so fortunate with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, the fortune of the entire Guru Parampara. All of us, we don't have to climb the yoga ladder at all. There is a elevator that is waiting for us. The elevator straight takes us to the topmost rung of the yoga ladder without even passing through any of the other levels one by one. Straight away reach the topmost level, provided we are ready to listen to devotees and follow the instructions of the teachers, do what is being told to us, what is being recommended to us, and chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mahamantra diligently as much as we can. Ideally, we should all chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If not, at least chant 2 or 3 rounds sincerely. Begin there, slowly we grow. Follow Ekadasis as much as possible. Eat prasad that is offered to food that is offered to Krishna as much as possible. Study the scriptures. Associate with the devotees. Hear regularly Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, and all of this. And that way, we are steadily situated on the topmost ladder, which is Bhakti Yoga, and we have taken the elevator to perfect our lives. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You can have some questions and discussions, please. Before we open the floor for question answers, I have one very important announcement to make. This will give many of you all great joy, especially those who are in Mumbai and in and around Dadar. So after a break of almost 5 years, I will be starting Bhagavad Gita classes in Shivaji Park once again. For many of you all who don't know, I used to conduct these Gita classes that you all are part of physically in Shivaji Park for years together, for almost 4 or 5 years. And last couple of years, I've been traveling quite a lot, so I've not been doing Gita classes physically on a weekly basis. But once again, we are starting Gita classes from September onwards. Somewhere in mid-September, we'll be doing a journey of self-discovery physically in Shivaji Park in Mumbai. For many of you all who are based in Mumbai and based around Shivaji Park area, you're most welcome to come and physically attend those classes there. And if you have anybody who is a friend, relative, anyone that you know would be interested in attending Bhagavad Gita classes physically in Shivaji Park area, I really want only people from Shivaji Park and that vicinity, Mahim, Prabhadevi, Matunga, that particular belt to come in, because otherwise it becomes very impractical to steadily keep coming, So if anybody would like to recommend anyone to come for these classes, you're most welcome to send your recommendations to any of our devotees who you all are in touch with. And, For those of y'all who want to also experience physical classes and you are in Mumbai once in a while, you can drop in. So after the Journey of Self-Discovery, I'll be doing Journey of Self-Discovery over 6 weeks. And my plan is to start on Thursdays. Every Thursday from 7:30 to 9, we'll have classes in Shubha going forward. These Tuesday classes will continue online anyways, because there are people from all over the world coming in. But beyond the Tuesday, I'll be doing a physical class on Thursday also. So just thought I will share this good news with all of you. And in case you want to recommend anyone, you're most welcome. Okay. We are open for question answers. Anybody would like to ask any questions in the comments, please feel free to. Lakshmi ji.
Namaste, Shubha Vilas ji. So, according to this chapter 3, Lord Krishna already says on the yoga path, Bhakti Yoga is the highest. Then why anyone actually tries the more difficult? Why people try Jnana Yoga or Dhyana and all? They can. That's the easiest anyway, to just surrender to a guru or do that. Then if it's already stated that.
So thank you for the question. The reality is that not everyone gets access to this path. Most people, first of all, don't get to understand Gita the way we are studying it. You ask anyone who has been studying Gita, do they understand the yoga ladder at all? 99.99% will give you such confused and such complicated answers that they, so basically it's not easy. That's the main reason why people don't take up this path, which is supposed to be the easiest. Though the path, finding it is not easy.
But it's evident in the shloka, na? Sorry.
Yeah, it is evident. So what happens? These shlokas are like codes. Okay. So many of the shlokas feel that this is the best for me. And also depends on people's nature. There are some people whose natures are not there. Because to surrender, it really needs a lot of humility, isn't it? It really needs a lot of dedication in that sense, isn't it? Those who are very intellectually oriented, they would prefer to study on their own. They don't want to be told by someone. They don't want to hear it from somebody. They'll say, I'll find my path. So if somebody is saying, I'll find my path, most welcome, keep searching for a few lifetimes. And then you come to some conclusion after a few lifetimes, basically. So that is a problem. The problem is everyone has his or her own nature, which doesn't allow them to go beyond a certain, unless and until they come across a good teacher who can really make it so simple and easy for them, and make it so clear for them, then they're willing to take. And of course, even then you have to have faith in the teacher, right? Yeah. So though it is so easy, it's not exactly easy.
Got it.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions or comments? Okay, that's great. Very, very grateful and happy to be with all of you all. Once again, I just want to remind all of you all that we are in the middle of just about to approach the biggest festivals of the year in Balram Jayanti and Janmashtami coming in. From tomorrow, actually from today, 5 days, we do a festival known as Jhulan Yatra in all the ISKCON temples across the world, actually. But if you are specifically in Mumbai, you must visit ISKCON Chowpatty. The Jhulan Yatra darshans are fascinating. I'm going to ask someone to drop some pictures of the Jhulan Yatra darshans on a daily basis for all of you on the group, so that at least on the group you can have darshans. But for those who can't physically go there, you must visit. At least visit online on the website, on ISKCON Chowpatty's Facebook page or website, somewhere. Basically, these Jhulan Yatras are where there is the most amazing darshan of Radha Krishna on a swing. And everyone gets to actually swing them. And these swings are decorated so amazingly. devotees work almost 24 hours to create one Jhulan darshan, basically. So 24 hours of hard work it goes into make these darshans. So I highly, highly recommend you all to have these darshans. So we will drop the Jhulan Yatra darshan photos every day on the group so that you can have the darshans virtually. Those who can physically go, those who are from Mumbai, please do visit ISKCON Chowpatty and have darshans. And 12th is Balram Jayanti, which is Friday. Is the appearance day of Lord Balaramji. So wherever you are in the world, please do visit an ISKCON center close by. And if you are in Mumbai, please do come to ISKCON Chowpatty. I'll be there myself also, so we can participate in the festival. And next week, 19th of August is Janmashtami. If possible, you all should try to fast. Usually on Balram Jayanti, we fast till 12 o'clock in the noon, 12 o'clock afternoon. So we do a full fast till 12 in the afternoon, and then you can have regular food. But on Janmashtami day, we fast till 12 in the night, midnight. So it's like a almost 24 hours fast, basically. We fast from early morning all the way till 12 o'clock in the night and break the fast at midnight, you know. So ideally, it's great if you can come to an ISKCON temple and have darshan and then break a fast, or at least, you know, have darshan online and then break fast, whatever. But please take good advantage of these festivals. Next week, which is next Tuesday, I'll be doing a Gita class, but I'll be speaking on the significance of Krishna Janmashtami. So it'll be a very special Janmashtami lecture next Tuesday. So we, you know, get to absorb in the mood and significance of Janmashtami, and we are really prepared for Krishna's birth in our own lives. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.